Eli adjusted the straps of his backpack and glanced at the massive dome that stretched across the Helios 7 colony. The red desert sand outside reflected the twin suns' light, making the ground shimmer like molten metal. He took a deep breath, feeling the familiar mix of excitement and nervousness. Moving to a new colony had been a dream, but sharing a module with an alien roommate was not exactly what he had imagined. The colony's airlock hissed open, and Eli stepped inside. The interior was a maze of metallic corridors, lights blinking in steady patterns, and the faint hum of machinery vibrating through the floor. His assigned living module was at the end of a narrow hallway, marked by a small, holographic plaque that flickered. Module 42. Inhabitant. Zyra. Eli raised an eyebrow. Zyra. The name sounded unusual but strangely melodic. He had met alien roommates before in orientation simulations, but nothing could prepare him for meeting a real, live alien in person. He pushed open the sliding door to his module. The room was surprisingly spacious, with a small kitchenette, 2 beds, and a wall lined with storage compartments. But what immediately caught his eye was the occupant. Zyra was sitting cross-legged on one of the beds, her skin glowing softly with shades of blue and green. Her eyes were larger than human eyes, with a shimmering, almost liquid quality. 2 delicate tendrils extended from the sides of her head, moving slightly as she observed him. "Hello," Eli said cautiously, placing his backpack on the floor. "I'm Eli. I guess I'm your new roommate." Zyra tilted her head, the glow on her skin pulsing faintly. "Greetings, human Eli," she said in a voice that sounded like a blend of musical tones. "I have been expecting your arrival. You may enter my personal space, cautiously." Eli chuckled nervously. "Cautiously. Got it." He stepped further into the room, careful not to get too close. Despite her polite tone, there was something unusual about Zyra's presence. The temperature seemed to drop slightly around her, and Eli felt a cool breeze emanating from her direction. "So, I've heard your species has a bonding ritual?" Eli asked, trying to sound casual. He wasn't sure what he expected. Maybe a handshake? A high five? He had no idea what aliens considered polite. Zyra's tendrils twitched. "Yes. The ritual is essential for my survival and social stability. It is called the Syntherian process. You are not required to participate immediately, but your presence will inevitably initiate minor bonding signals." Eli frowned. Minor bonding signals? What did that even mean? Before he could ask, Zyra suddenly shifted closer, her glowing form flickering. Eli instinctively stepped back. Is that safe?" he asked, noticing the sudden chill surrounding her. "I am detecting your thermal signature," Zyra replied. "It is unusually high. It may pose complications if our interaction continues without mitigation." Eli laughed nervously. "Complications? Like what? A headache?" Zyra's glow dimmed briefly, and she looked almost worried. "Your heat is far beyond my tolerance. If it increases, it could compromise my internal regulation. I may experience significant stress." Eli froze. "Oh. Wow. I didn't realize just standing here would be dangerous." Zyra's voice softened. "Dangerous is relative. It is more accurate to say that prolonged exposure may lead to instability in my physiological systems." Eli ran a hand through his hair, realizing this was going to be trickier than he thought. "Okay, step 1. Figure out how not to cook my roommate with my human body heat." "Got it." Zyra's tendrils twitched in what seemed like amusement. "Your humor is noted. But focus is required. We must understand each other's limits. That is the first step in forming the Syntherian bond safely." Over the next hour, Eli learned more about Zyra. She was from a frigid exoplanet called Nivora, where temperatures rarely rose above freezing. Her species had evolved to thrive in extreme cold, and even a slight increase in heat could cause serious stress. She relied on cooling crystals embedded in her skin, specialized clothing, and careful environmental control to survive in warmer climates. Eli tried not to panic. He was from Earth, used to moderate temperatures, but apparently, his mere body warmth was enough to challenge her survival. "So," Eli said, sitting at the small table, "you want to form this bonding thing? But my human heat is a problem. How do we fix that?" Zyra's glow brightened. "Adaptation. That is the key. You must reduce your heat emission, and I must regulate my core temperature. Cooperation will ensure the success of our initial bonding exercises." Eli nodded, trying to imagine what that would look like. "So, what's the first exercise?" Zyra's tendrils twitched excitedly. "We will begin with a simple synchronization exercise. It involves simultaneous breathing patterns and minor spatial alignment. The goal is to align our metabolic rhythms without overexerting either party." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Metabolic? Okay, sure. Let's try it." The exercise was awkward at first. Eli followed Zyra's instructions, breathing slowly and adjusting his position to match her. He was hyper-aware of the heat radiating from his body, trying not to overwhelm her. Zyra glowed faintly, the color shifting as she monitored his progress. After a few minutes, Zyra spoke. "Adjustment detected. Your heat has reduced slightly, though still above optimal levels. Continue practicing, and the risk to my systems will decrease." Eli wiped his forehead, feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. "So, this bonding thing is basically a workout?" In a sense," Zyra replied, her tone tinged with amusement. "It requires mental focus, physical regulation, and cooperative problem-solving. All humans should theoretically excel at such tasks." Eli smiled. "Glad to know humans are awesome at something. Makes me feel better." The day continued with more exercises. Eli discovered that ordinary activities standing too close, even gesturing with his hands, affected Zyra's comfort. He had to be constantly mindful of his heat and movements. It was challenging, but also strangely engaging. He had never met a being so different, yet so intelligent and curious. By evening, Eli was exhausted, but Zyra seemed content. Her glow was steady, and her tendrils moved in, relaxed, fluid motions. "You have done well today, human Eli," she said. "Your cooperation has reduced stress indicators significantly. Tomorrow, we may begin more complex exercises, including shared tasks outside the module." Eli flopped onto his bed, staring at the ceiling. "Tomorrow's going to be fun, I think. Or dangerous. Or both." Zyra tilted her head, the glow around her pulsating gently. "Fun is a subjective human concept, but I concur. Tomorrow will present opportunities for growth, understanding, and possibly minor amusement." Eli laughed quietly, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie with this alien roommate. Despite the unusual circumstances, he couldn't help but look forward to the challenges ahead. For the first time on Helios 7, he felt like he had a real partner in this strange, foreign world. As he drifted off to sleep, he thought about the heat issue, the bonding exercises, and the humor they had shared. Somehow, he knew that surviving alongside Zyra would require creativity, patience, and probably a lot of sweat control, but he was ready. Outside the module, the twin suns of Helios 7 dipped lower on the horizon, casting long, golden shadows across the red desert. Within the metal walls of Module 42, a human and an alien were taking the first steps toward an unusual, extraordinary friendship, and neither of them would ever be quite the same again. The next morning, Eli woke to the soft glow of Zyra's skin illuminating the module. The twin suns were rising outside, painting the red desert in shades of gold and crimson. Eli stretched and yawned, already feeling the weight of the previous day's exercises. He rubbed his eyes and noticed Zyra sitting on her bed, tendrils slowly swaying, as if she had been observing him for hours. "Good morning, human Eli," Zyra said, her voice musical and calm. "Your thermal output has already increased slightly. Please proceed with caution." Eli grinned sheepishly. "Yeah, Yeah, I know. I'll try not to roast you today. Zyra's glow pulsed faintly, which Eli had begun to recognize as amusement. You have humor, but the task today is not to amuse, but to synchronize further. We will advance to cooperative exercises outside the module. Eli's stomach sank slightly. The first exercises had been challenging enough in the controlled environment of the module. Outside? He asked. In the desert? Yes, Zyra confirmed. The environment will simulate real planetary conditions, including temperature fluctuations and minor atmospheric stressors. These conditions are critical for preparing us for full Syntherian bond trials. Eli groaned but nodded. He had to admit, the idea of working together in a real alien environment was exciting. He just hoped his human heat wouldn't accidentally turn her into a puddle of glowing slime. They stepped outside, and the heat of the twin suns immediately pressed down on Eli. Zyra, by contrast, seemed to shimmer in delight, her cool-toned glow steady. He adjusted his visor and followed her toward a training area lined with low, metallic obstacles and strange, holographic projectors. The first exercise is cooperative navigation, Zyra explained. We must traverse the obstacle course while maintaining synchronized movement patterns. Any deviation may increase stress levels for either participant. Eli blinked. Synchronized movement. Got it. Like a dance? Zyra's tendrils twitched. Analogous, yes. Think of it as a complex physical algorithm executed in harmony. They began. Eli tried to match Zyra's movements, stepping carefully to avoid her sensitive zones. Zyra adjusted her pace, her bioluminescent glow shifting to indicate comfort or stress. After a few awkward minutes, they were beginning to move in rhythm. And then Eli tripped. He stumbled over a low barrier, arms flailing, and inadvertently brushed against Zyra's side. Immediately, her glow brightened sharply, a warning sign that her core temperature was spiking. Warning, warning, thermal spike detected, Zyra cried, spinning away. Eli scrambled to apologize. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Zyra's tendrils flicked rapidly. Human. Your unpredictable kinetic energy has caused a significant stress surge. You must reduce both movement and heat output. Eli sighed. Right. Less heat. Less movement. Got it. Basically, I'm a walking hazard. Zyra's glow softened. Not a hazard, merely a challenge. Adaptation is required. Focus. Human Eli. They continued. More carefully this time. Eli concentrated on keeping his body cool, moving slowly, and matching her steps. It was exhausting, but oddly satisfying. For a moment, he felt like he was learning a secret alien dance, one that required patience, awareness, and teamwork. After the obstacle course, Zyra led him to a strange device in the middle of the training area. It resembled a large, mirrored cube with pulsing lights. This is the Harmony Simulator, Zyra explained. It will assess our mental synchronization and ability to cooperate under stress. Enter the cube with me. Eli hesitated. Do I touch anything? No, Zyra replied. Just follow my movements and mirror my thought patterns. It is a test of mental and emotional alignment. Inside the cube, Eli felt a gentle hum resonate through his body. Lights shimmered around them, and he suddenly understood why Zyra called it a mental simulator. Thoughts of cooperation, trust, and awareness were amplified. He could feel Zyra's presence in a new, almost tangible way, as if their minds were brushing against each other. And then his stomach rumbled loudly. Zyra's glow flickered. Human, your digestive processes are distracting. Please control the internal vibrations. Eli laughed awkwardly. I can't control that one. Breakfast did its thing. Zyra's tendrils quivered in what seemed like restrained laughter. Your species is peculiar. But we will continue. Focus now. They moved through the mental exercises with varying success. Eli's human unpredictability caused minor spikes in Zyra's stress levels. But overall, Their synchronization improved. Zyra's instructions were precise, yet she adapted to his quirks with patience, teaching him how to manage his heat, movements, and even thought patterns to avoid overwhelming her. By midday, the heat outside had grown oppressive. Eli could feel sweat forming, and he noticed Zyra's glow flickering with concern. "Time for a break," Zyra said, her voice calm but firm. "We must regulate. Your body heat is nearing the upper limit of safe interaction. We will continue once temperatures stabilize." Eli slumped against a metallic wall, grateful for the pause. "This bonding thing, it's way more complicated than I thought." Zyra floated beside him, her tendrils curling gently. "Complexity is inherent in interspecies interaction, but it is through challenge that adaptation occurs. You are performing adequately, human Eli. Do not underestimate your progress." Eli smiled. "Thanks. I think. Still, it's weird. I never thought my body heat could be dangerous to someone." Zyra's glow softened. "It is unusual for a human. Most beings of your species do not cohabitate with Niverans. This creates both challenge and opportunity." After resting, they resumed their exercises. The next task was cooperative problem-solving. A set of puzzles appeared in the desert sand. Holographic projections that required both of them to manipulate energy beams simultaneously. Eli quickly realized that his heat could disrupt the holograms. He had to step carefully, keep his body cool, and coordinate precisely with Zyra. The task forced him to pay attention to every small action, every timing adjustment. "Align your beam with mine," Zyra instructed, her glow shifting to a calming blue. Eli adjusted, concentrating harder than he ever had on any puzzle back on Earth. Slowly, with careful steps and precise timing, their beams synchronized, creating a glowing lattice of energy. The cube of light shimmered and expanded, signaling their success. Zyra's tendrils twitched in satisfaction. "Excellent. Your adaptability improves rapidly, human Eli. You are learning to cooperate without compromising my physiological limits." Eli grinned, panting slightly. "I'm learning, slowly. But I feel like I'm finally getting it." The rest of the day was a mix of physical and mental exercises, each designed to test cooperation, synchronization, and mutual awareness. Eli began to notice patterns. Zyra's glow changed subtly with her stress levels. Her tendrils shifted to indicate comfort or discomfort, and minor environmental adjustments could make a huge difference in her well-being. By evening, the twin suns had set, and the desert cooled slightly. Eli and Zyra returned to their module, both exhausted, but satisfied. "Your human ingenuity is impressive," Zyra said, settling onto her bed. "Despite initial challenges, you have adapted. You will require further practice to maintain these skills, but progress is evident." Eli flopped onto his bed, rubbing his sore arms and legs. "Yeah, I've got blisters in places I didn't know existed. But hey, I survived. And you survived my heat. Mostly." Zyra's glow pulsed faintly, almost like a smile. "Indeed. Tomorrow will present new challenges, including environmental stress simulations. You must continue adaptation, and we must maintain vigilance." Eli laughed softly. "You're not kidding about vigilance. I feel like a walking space heater that could accidentally ruin everything." Zyra tilted her head. "And yet, you continue. That persistence is commendable. It is a trait of humans that may explain your species' success in multiple environments. Adaptation through creativity and perseverance is impressive." Eli felt a warm sense of pride despite his exhaustion. Somehow, amidst the humor, awkward moments, and intense training, he felt a real bond forming with this alien roommate. Not romantic, not forced, just trust, friendship, and mutual respect. As they settled in for the night, Eli reflected on the day. He had learned more than he expected. About alien culture, physiology, and the importance of careful observation. He had also learned about himself, that he could adapt, think creatively, and face unexpected challenges without panicking. And, He realized, with a small grin, he was beginning to enjoy the ridiculous, exhausting adventure of being Zyra's roommate. Outside, the desert sky was a swirl of deep reds and purples, dotted with distant stars. Inside the module, a human and an alien were slowly, carefully, and hilariously learning to coexist, a process that would only become more challenging in the days to come. Tomorrow, Eli thought, would test them further. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of quiet satisfaction. The first true steps of their partnership were behind them, and both of them had survived, and even laughed along the way. The next morning, Eli awoke with a stiff neck and sore arms, the result of yesterday's rigorous training. His muscles ached in ways he didn't think possible. Yet there was a strange sense of satisfaction in the exhaustion. He rolled over and found Zyra sitting cross-legged on her bed, glowing softly in the early sunlight. Her tendrils swayed gently, and her eyes were focused on him. "Good morning, human Eli," she said, her voice calm yet musical. "Your thermal output has increased slightly during sleep cycles. Minor adjustments are necessary," Eli groaned. "Oh, come on. I can't even sleep without being dangerous?" Zyra's glow pulsed, almost like she was amused. "Control during rest is difficult for humans. This is normal. It will require observation and adaptation. Today's exercises are more complex, and vigilance is essential." Eli rubbed his eyes. "Great. More complex. Just what I needed to start my day." They stepped outside into the desert. The sun was higher now, and Eli could feel its warmth pressing against his skin. Zyra floated ahead, her glow steady. Unaffected by the heat, Eli could already feel sweat forming on his brow, his body's natural warmth threatening her delicate systems. "The first task today is environmental navigation with hazard simulation," Zyra explained. "We must traverse the course while maintaining optimal thermal balance. Deviations will increase risk to both participants. You will also encounter simulated obstacles and energy fields." Eli's stomach sank. Yesterday had been difficult enough. Hazard simulation sounded like a disaster waiting to happen. He adjusted his visor and followed Zyra cautiously. The obstacle course was more elaborate than yesterday's. Low walls, swinging beams, and holographic energy traps forced him to move carefully. Every step required attention, not just to his own movements but to how close he came to Zyra. One wrong move could spike her stress levels, and he couldn't let that happen. As they began, Eli noticed something troubling. His natural body heat was already causing small distortions in the energy fields. The holograms flickered and warped, and Zyra's glow brightened in warning. "Human Eli," she said calmly, "your heat is affecting the simulation. We must reduce your thermal output immediately." Eli sighed. "Right, reduce heat. Let me just invent a cooling method real quick." He glanced around the module and remembered a small, portable cooler he had brought for emergencies. Grabbing it, he carefully placed it near the energy field. To his relief, the holographic beams stabilized. Zyra's glow returned to a calm blue. "You adapted quickly," Zyra observed, her tendrils twitching in approval. "Your ingenuity is impressive. This is a trait of humans that promotes survival in diverse environments." Eli smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "Thanks. I guess being dangerously hot has its advantages." The rest of the morning was a mix of challenges. Zyra guided Eli through mental and physical coordination tasks, balancing on narrow platforms, aligning energy beams, and solving complex puzzles that required simultaneous actions. Each task pushed Eli to think creatively while controlling his body's heat. During one particularly tricky exercise, Eli accidentally triggered a sandstorm simulation. Red dust swirled around them, reducing visibility and causing the temperature to spike. Zyra's glow brightened sharply, and her tendrils fluttered in alarm. "Human Eli, your heat combined with the simulation is dangerous," she exclaimed. Eli panicked for a moment, realizing the potential harm he could cause. Then he remembered the cooling devices he had improvised. Quickly, He activated small, portable fans and positioned reflective panels around the area to redirect the heat. The sandstorm simulation stabilized, and Zyra's glow returned to normal. "You saved the exercise," Zyra said, her tendrils curling in what seemed like appreciation. "Your creative solutions are remarkable. You may be the first human to successfully navigate this course without compromising Nivoran physiology." Eli laughed, though his muscles ached. "Well, I didn't want to be the first human to melt my roommate either. So, win-win?" Zyra tilted her head, her glow pulsing faintly. "An apt observation. Cooperation and ingenuity often lead to optimal outcomes." After a brief rest, Zyra introduced the next task, the symbiotic maze. A network of interconnected corridors, filled with pressure-sensitive panels, required them to move in precise patterns. If Eli stepped too heavily or emitted too much heat, alarms would sound, and the course would reset. Eli hesitated at the entrance. "This looks intense. How do we even start?" Zyra's glow shifted to a guiding blue. "By observing, calculating, and responding. Humans excel in pattern recognition. Trust your instincts, but remain aware of your thermal signature." Together, they entered the maze. At first, Eli stumbled frequently, his natural heat triggering small alarms and forcing them to restart. Zyra remained patient, guiding him with subtle gestures and verbal cues. Slowly, he began to anticipate the sequence of panels, adjusting his pace and movements to match her precisely. Halfway through the maze, they encountered a section with moving platforms over a shallow pit. Eli froze, noticing that the platform beneath him was slightly warmer than usual. "Careful," Zyra warned. "Your body heat is amplifying the surface temperature. Move deliberately." Eli took a deep breath, forcing himself to slow down. Step by step, he crossed the platforms without incident. Zyra followed, her tendrils swaying gracefully. For the first time, Eli felt truly in sync with her. They completed the maze together, their synchronization nearly perfect. Zyra's glow radiated a soft, steady blue, and her tendrils relaxed. "You have exceeded expectations, human Eli," she said. "Your ability to adapt, strategize, and cooperate is commendable. You are progressing toward full Syntherian bond compatibility." Eli grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "I'm glad, though I think my muscles will be filing a complaint tomorrow." Zyra's glow pulsed in what he recognized as amusement. "Your humor persists. It is beneficial for morale and cooperation." The final exercise of the day was a creative problem-solving challenge. Zyra explained that a simulated planetary disaster had occurred. A sudden heat surge threatened a group of Nivoran settlers, and Eli and Zyra had to work together to stabilize the environment. Eli immediately realized the stakes. He had to use his ingenuity to protect others while controlling his own heat. Drawing on lessons from the past exercises, he quickly improvised cooling devices using materials around the simulation zone. Reflective panels, small fans, and temperature sensors allowed them to redirect excess heat safely. Zyra coordinated alongside him, adjusting her own systems and guiding Eli's actions with precision. The simulation responded positively. The settlers were safe, and the environmental conditions stabilized. "You have demonstrated exceptional adaptability, human Eli," Zyra said, her glow steady and bright. "Your ingenuity and cooperation have saved lives. This is a hallmark of the human species' capability to overcome environmental challenges." Eli leaned back, exhausted but elated. "So, I didn't just survive, I actually helped. That's pretty cool." Zyra's tendrils twitched, almost like a smile. "Indeed. Your contributions today were significant. You are learning the balance between human physiology and Nivoran tolerance. This is critical for the Syntherian bond." As the twin suns began to set, Eli and Zyra returned to their module. Eli's body ached, but he felt an unspoken sense of accomplishment. He had faced extreme challenges, adapted creatively, and grown closer to his alien roommate in the process. Inside the module, Zyra floated near the window, her glow reflecting the warm desert hues. Human Eli, your perseverance is notable. Your ability to adapt under pressure and protect others is commendable. I am beginning to trust your presence fully. Eli smiled, sitting on his bed. Thanks, Zyra. I trust you too. Though I'll admit, it's still weird knowing my body heat could actually hurt you. Zyra's glow softened. It is an unusual circumstance, but it has created opportunities for learning and growth. You have discovered human potential in adaptation and problem solving, and I have learned to anticipate and accommodate unexpected variables in your physiology. Eli laughed quietly. So basically, we're teaching each other stuff without even realizing it. Yes, Zyra replied, her voice calm and melodic. That is the essence of cooperation. Mutual growth strengthens bonds and ensures survival in unfamiliar environments. Eli nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. For the first time, he understood what Zyra had meant about the Syntherian bond. It wasn't just a ritual or a test, it was a process of learning, adapting, and trusting. It required patience, creativity, and empathy. And despite the heat challenges, it was slowly becoming something he genuinely enjoyed. As night fell over Helios 7, the desert cooled, and the stars began to shine. Eli and Zyra rested, their minds buzzing with the day's lessons and successes. Tomorrow promised even greater challenges, including advanced environmental simulations and cooperative tasks that would test their bond further. But for now, Eli allowed himself a rare moment of pride. He had survived, adapted, and even thrived under circumstances that seemed impossible. And in doing so, he had forged a connection with Zyra that transcended species and temperature limits. Tomorrow, the adventure would continue, but tonight, he could rest, knowing that human ingenuity and determination had once again prevailed. The morning air of Helios 7 was unusually crisp, a welcome relief after the previous days of grueling exercises. Eli stretched and rubbed his sore shoulders, still feeling the lingering effects of the symbiotic maze and hazard simulations. His body ached, but he couldn't deny the satisfaction that came with every small victory. Zyra floated near the window, her glow calm and steady, a soft blue that reflected the early sunlight. Human Eli, she said, her voice musical and precise. Today marks the final phase of the Syntherian bond exercises. You have progressed well, but the ultimate challenge will require complete synchronization, cooperation, and ingenuity. Eli swallowed. Ultimate challenge. Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Zyra's glow flickered faintly, almost like a smile. It is challenging, but you have demonstrated capacity to adapt. Confidence in your abilities is essential. We will face this trial together. The task was set in a specially constructed area of the desert, an arena that combined natural terrain with advanced simulation technology. Towers of red sand rose high, interspersed with holographic energy barriers, moving platforms, and environmental hazards designed to simulate extreme heat, sandstorms, and fluctuating gravity. At the center of the arena stood a control console with multiple panels, each glowing with alien symbols. This, Zyra said, hovering beside Eli, is the final test. A simulated planetary crisis has occurred. Temperatures are rising rapidly, and Nivoran settlers require assistance. Our goal is to stabilize the environment, rescue stranded individuals, and maintain our physiological balance. Eli looked at the course and swallowed. This looks intense. But okay. I've got this, I think. Zyra's tendrils twitched. Doubt is normal. Focus on cooperation, observation, and adaptation. Your ingenuity will be tested as much as your physical coordination. They stepped into the arena. Immediately, the heat pressed down on Eli, and he could feel his body temperature climbing. Zyra hovered close, her glow steady but attentive, monitoring his condition. First task, Zyra instructed. Navigate to the central console while avoiding environmental hazards. Precision and control of your heat are essential. Eli carefully adjusted his visor and began moving, watching the shifting holographic barriers. Each step required thought. Move too quickly, and his heat could destabilize the simulation. Move too slowly, and the barriers would reset. He relied on lessons learned over the past 3 days, adjusting his movements to stay in sync with Zyra. Halfway to the console, a simulated sandstorm erupted. Red dust swirled, reducing visibility and causing the temperature to spike. Eli felt sweat forming immediately, threatening Zyra's comfort. Human Eli, thermal spike imminent, Zyra warned, her glow shifting to a bright yellow. Eli panicked for a moment. Then he remembered his cooling devices and improvised solutions, pulling reflective panels from nearby supports, activating portable fans, and adjusting his visor. He managed to redirect heat and stabilize the immediate environment. Zyra's glow returned to a calming blue, and she twitched her tendrils in appreciation. "You have adapted under pressure," she said. "Your ingenuity is remarkable. Proceed to the console." They reached the central control console. Panels flickered with alien symbols, some responding to touch, others to gestures. Eli's heat-sensitive touch was now a concern. But Zyra guided him. "Use your hands cautiously. Coordinate with my input. Synchronization is critical." Together, they manipulated the panels, redirecting simulated energy flows and stabilizing environmental conditions. Eli had to think creatively, adjusting his heat and movements while following Zyra's precise instructions. Step by step, they completed the sequence. "Excellent," Zyra said, her glow steady. "The settlers are safe. Your cooperation and adaptability have prevented disaster. This is a testament to human ingenuity and determination." Eli let out a deep breath, wiping sweat from his brow. "So, we actually did it. The settlers are safe, and I didn't melt my alien roommate. That's pretty amazing." Zyra's glow pulsed softly. "Indeed. But this is only part of the exercise. The final phase requires physical and mental synchronization under extreme environmental stress." Suddenly, the arena shifted. Platforms began moving faster. Holographic barriers appeared unpredictably, and the temperature rose even further. Eli's body heat increased naturally, and he could feel Zyra's stress levels responding in subtle ways. "Human Eli," Zyra said calmly, "we must act quickly. Your body heat must be managed, and our movements synchronized precisely. Ingenuity is your advantage, use it." Eli scanned the environment. Using lessons from prior exercises, he improvised cooling devices again, arranging reflective panels and activating fans to divert heat. Zyra coordinated alongside him, adjusting her own systems and guiding his actions with precise gestures. Together, they moved through the chaotic arena, each step deliberate and calculated. Eli adjusted his pace to mirror Zyra's movements. And for the first time, he felt a profound sense of connection. They weren't just human and alien navigating a course, they were a team, anticipating each other's actions instinctively. Halfway through the challenge, a holographic chasm appeared. Platforms shifted above a simulated pit, requiring perfect timing and coordination. Eli hesitated, glancing at Zyra. "Trust yourself," she said softly. "And trust me," Eli nodded. Taking a deep breath, he stepped carefully onto the first platform. Zyra mirrored him perfectly, and together they moved across the chasm, adjusting to each platform's movement with precise timing. His heart raced, and sweat ran down his back. But he felt exhilaration instead of fear. Once across, they encountered the final set of obstacles. Energy fields that required simultaneous activation, puzzles that demanded mental focus, and temperature spikes that tested Eli's ingenuity. Each task pushed them to the limit, but through cooperation, observation, and clever problem-solving, they overcame every challenge. Finally, they reached the arena's exit. The simulation ended, and the environment stabilized completely. Eli collapsed onto the ground, breathing heavily, while Zyra floated beside him, her glow steady and calm. You have succeeded, human Eli, Zyra said, her voice full of admiration. Your ability to adapt, innovate, and cooperate under extreme conditions is exceptional. You have completed the Syntherion bond exercises. Eli grinned, exhausted but elated. We actually did it. Together. I can't believe it. Zyra's tendrils twitched in what seemed like a smile. Indeed. Through cooperation, you have demonstrated the core values of your species: ingenuity, perseverance, and resilience. These qualities are essential for survival and growth, and they have strengthened our bond. Eli looked at her, feeling a strange sense of pride. Over the past 4 days, he had learned more than he ever expected, not just about Zyra, but about himself. He had discovered his ability to adapt, solve problems under pressure, and cooperate with a being entirely different from himself. You know, Eli said, lying back on the sand, I never thought my body heat would be such a big deal. But it turns out, it helped me learn to think creatively. And I think I've learned how to actually be a good teammate. Zyra's glow pulsed gently. Your heat, though challenging, has indeed fostered ingenuity. The exercises have revealed your potential and demonstrated that humans are capable of remarkable adaptation. As the twin suns set over Helios 7, the red desert cooled, casting long shadows across the arena. Eli and Zyra rested together, their bond stronger than ever. They had faced extreme environmental hazards, unpredictable simulations, and physical limitations. Yet they had succeeded through teamwork and trust. This, Eli said quietly, feels like more than just training. It feels like friendship. And maybe even more than that, a real partnership. Zyra's tendrils twitched in response. Indeed, the Syntherion bond is a connection beyond species, grounded in trust, cooperation, and mutual growth. You have proven yourself worthy of this bond. Eli smiled, looking at the glowing alien beside him. I'm glad we did this together, Zyra. I couldn't have done it alone. Nor could I, human Eli, Zyra replied softly. Your presence, ingenuity, and adaptability have been essential. This partnership represents the potential of human and Nevoran cooperation. Together, we are stronger. As night fell and stars appeared in the sky, Eli reflected on the past 4 days. He had faced challenges he never imagined, adapted in ways he didn't think possible, and forged a connection that transcended species. Humanity's ingenuity and resilience had shone through, and in doing so, he had earned the trust and respect of an alien being unlike any other. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new exercises, and new adventures on Helios 7. But tonight, Eli allowed himself to rest, proud of what he and Zyra had accomplished. Together, they had proven that cooperation, creativity, and perseverance could overcome even the most extreme obstacles. In the quiet desert night, a human and an alien sat side by side, their bond complete. They were a team, a partnership, and a testament to the power of adaptation and trust. Helios 7 might be a harsh world, but together, they were ready for anything. And in that moment, humanity through one clever, adaptable human had truly shown its strength.